My dear students, my dear learners, thank you from the core of my heart. And at this time being, I am going to discuss about preposition part 6. And in this phase, I am going to tell you some important rules about the use of preposition at. So, dear students, the use of preposition is very essential to speak in English, to write in English effectively, and we have to have the knowledge of English for our own sake, for our betterment. So, dear students, please let us get started. Use of preposition part 6. And in this phase, I am going to tell you most important rule, that is, before the meal time we can use at. Before the meal time we can use at. So he is at dinner now. He is at dinner now. Dear viewers, you can see at dinner now. This means the meal time. This means the meal time. That means at this time somebody takes his or her meal. He is at dinner now. This is the meal time, and before that meal time we can use at. And if we want to mean some distance, to mean some distance, we can use at. To mean some distance we can use at. So what may be the sentence? Like this way you can see, he raised his voice because I was at a distance. So dear students, you can see, if we want to mean some distance, we can use the preposition at. He raised his voice because I was at a distance. And the third rule I am going to tell you, that before the parts of the day we can use at. Before the parts of the day we can use at. So he made angry at sundown. He made angry at sundown. So dear students, you can see. This is the part of the day. Sundown is one of the part of the day. So before part of the day we can use preposition at. And if we want to mean some address, to mean some address we can use at. So to mean some address, please take a look at this sentence. He was at an address. He was at an address that I don't know. That I don't you can write that I didn't know. So he was at an address that I didn't know, that was unknown to me. He was at an address that was unknown to me. So to mean some address, we can use the preposition at. And now we sometimes say that at the time arrange. somebody fixed a time for an action, and that fixed time may be called at the time arranged. So before the arranged time we can use at, and what the sense may be? The sense may be not before, not after. To mean not before, not after, we can use at the time arranged. So he came home at the time arranged. At the time arranged. Or you can say Hassan or Peter came or reached the meeting at the time arranged. At the time arranged. At the time arranged. So dear students, what can you understand from this sentence? What can you understand by the sentence? Please try to understand. He came home at the time arranged. This means he came home not before the time arranged or not after the time fixed up. So Hassan or Peter reached the meeting at the time arranged. This means if the time was 9 p.m., Hassan or Peter reached the party at 9 p.m. Not after 9 p.m., not before 9 p.m. So we can understand at the time arranged. That means the time not before or after, the fixed up time. So we can use he came here at the time arranged or Peter reached the meeting at the time arranged. And at this time I am going to tell you another important rule, that is we can also use at before some festival, like Christmas or Easter, etc. So you can say he came home at the Easter. He came home at the Easter. So dear students, please try to understand. At the Easter, this doesn't mean not the period only, not the day only, but also the period. This means he came home at the Easter. This doesn't only mean the day, but also the period. So if we say at the Easter, this means not the period only, but also the not the day only, but also the period. So if we want to emphasize over the word period, then we can use at before the Easter or Christmas. So he came home at the Easter. This is really perfect. And now I am going to tell you another important rule, that is in formal English. In formal English, we can use the preposition at the beginning, but in informal English we generally use the preposition at the end of the sentence. Please, but the sentences must be some questions beginning with some WH word. Please take a look at. What was he looking at? What was he looking at? what was he looking at? Please try to understand. This is a questions beginning with the WS word what, and this is a question, and the preposition at has been set at the end of the sentence in the informal English. What was he looking at? What was he looking at, or was he? What was he? What was Samira? What was Samira wondering at? Wondering, wondering at. So, dear students, you can understand what was he looking at, or what was Samira wondering at. So this is informal English, and in the informal English we can use the preposition at the end of the sentence, but one condition, that is the sentence must be begun with the WS word, like this: what, which, whom, whose, etc. So dear students, please be motivated in learning English, and I hope you make good success in course of time, and wishing your best, and wishing your best attitude, wishing your best expression, and wishing your best liking my videos and watching the videos from the beginning to the end. And please help me giving like, comments and share, and also let other people to watch my videos, and wishing your best of luck. Thank you everybody.